I do something called the 5-star shout out. I'm gonna say this line. I'm not gonna say it because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You can't make you know what I'm talking about. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Side Jawn, where we talk about everything from lifestyle, culture, music, sports, politics, relationships, everything. It's Saturday morning, my favorite day of the week, and I am joined with my very special guest today. You may remember her from prior shows, but this is Tricia Joy. Yay, she came to spread some joy on the Side Jawn this morning. I'm so glad to have you. I'm very excited about this show.
I'm excited too. Thank you for having me on. I love the Side Jawn. I watch it religiously every weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You are a regular, one of our regular viewers, and we appreciate you so much. But how are you doing this today?
I am fine.
Good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a little tough lately. Had some things go on, but it's been a pretty good week. That's how we usually start. We start out by talking to how our week has been. Mm-hmm. Since you're my guest, I'm gonna let you go first. So talk to us about your week. How's your week been this week?
Well, my week has been good. It's a very interesting climate right now, and I try to kind of shield my mind by doing creative things to stay up and stay creative. And so I've done a lot more creative things this week, a lot of videos, a lot of streams, a lot of shorts, a lot of reels, and keeping active. What about you?
It's been a pretty good week. Got a chance to see, anytime I get to see that grandbaby, I get to see my grandbaby, I'm just smiling and cheesing for days, get my grandbaby fix. And so it's been a pretty good week. I did get some news about one of my friends who's battling a very serious disease. So I'm keeping her in my prayers. But it also keeps me humble, keeps me close to God. We all got to stay close to the Creator. That's the way I look at it. So He's been carrying me through this week. God is so good, so good. But anyway, I'm so glad to have you here this morning. And I'm going to do things a little bit differently today because I'm not talking to you about sports or politics today. Can you believe it?
Really? Are you sure?
I'm sure.
You don't want to warm me up a little bit? You don't want
to We do that, next Friday. That's the Friday. Right. But
all right.
When you posted that you had released a coloring book, I was like, wow, because I never thought about producing a coloring book. I'm a writer, right, and I'm trying to get some books published and never got one published. But, You're gonna help me do that within the next 6 months. But anyway,
I'm gonna do my best. Yes.
we're gonna do it. But I never thought about doing a coloring book. I always wanted to release a book of poetry because I write poems. I've been writing poems since the 6th grade. But I never thought about actually doing a coloring book. And even as an old grown woman, I still like to color.
Right.
I do. I like to color. I don't want to admit that to nobody, but it is the truth. I do
Right.
like to color. So tell everybody what the name of this coloring book is.
Right. And do you mind me putting it on the screen?
Girl, by all means, put it on the screen.
Okay. So I'm gonna put the PDF version up. Let's see. Can you see it? It's at the bottom of the
I
in the
can't see.
studio.
Did you share? Oh, did you share your screen?
Yeah.
I can't see it. I don't see it.
Well, while we figure that out, I'm going to talk about the book. It's called Passport to Play, a sports traveling color adventure. And so, yeah, it takes I'm assuming it's a child, but the adults can partake in this book. It takes the child to 12 different countries and talks about the sport that each country plays, and they get to color an image. Well, not just the image. The character is called Alex, and Alex found a magical passport that'll take him anywhere in the world.
Oh, got it. That's where the passport comes from.
Right. And so Alex takes the reader and the colorer and the artist through 12 different countries. They go to Spain, they go to Australia, they go to Jamaica, they go to China, they go to all these different places and play the sport. But not only play the sport, they learn 4 facts about each country. So
awesome.
Let's go to Brazil. So in Brazil, Alex plays soccer. Obviously, they love soccer in Brazil.
Oh yeah.
And so the 4 facts are that Brazil is home to the largest or the biggest rainforest in the world, the Amazon. The people in Brazil speak Portuguese. Is the most popular sport. Even the beach is a soccer field. And the statue of Christ the Redeemer is one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is also in Brazil.
Yeah.
So, there's a page that has this written out, and they can color on the opposite side. So they look at Alex, they see the Christ the Redeemer statue, they see the soccer ball, and he's happy to be here in Brazil. So, they'll go to another country. Let me pick something random. They go to Canada, right? So 4 facts about Canada. Canada is the ice hockey is a national winter sport. Canada has more lakes than any country. People often say "a" at the end of sentences.
A.
Yeah. And you can see the northern lights in parts of Canada.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw a video of that. It is fascinating. Very fascinating.
Now, I made the book as an activity for people who are maybe taking their kids on vacation. And you know how kids be on these trips. But there's also the opportunity to teach kids who haven't been able to leave the country, haven't been able to take any trips because of maybe cost, maybe the parents aren't as adventurous. Who knows? But that doesn't mean you can't have an adventure at home. So hopefully the book helps all children with different abilities to travel, not travel, learn about other countries, learn about other sports, and have fun.
What a great premise. How did you even come up with the thought of the theme of this coloring book?
To be honest, I know the season of summer is the season of travel, and so I wanted to I wanted to kind of jump into that area where I know people are traveling, they have travel on the mind, and still hold on to sports because sports is year round. So I just picked that as the hey, people love to travel. Let's travel around the world and still partake in sports. And that's how I came up with it. Give me a second.
I mean, it's a great idea. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that for children in a coloring book. It kind of reminds me of the travel cartoon. What is it? Carmen Sandiego.
Oh
Like she's going all
yeah,
over the
I
place.
love
That's
that
what it
show.
reminds me of. Yeah, that's what that reminds me of. But never, not, this is not the same. The whole thing with the connection to the sport being played. I just think that's fascinating. Plus, it keeps younger kids, fascinated to learn about sports. If they're really young, they're at an age they don't even know what a sport is yet. And so they can start getting this could be their first acclimation or introduction to sports through this coloring book.
Right.
I think that's awesome.
Not every parent likes sports, but what if your kid picks it up,
Right. They may like it on their own. When did the coloring book Passport play? When did it get released officially?
I believe about 2 weeks ago. It's an interesting process that I can talk about in a second. Hold on. I just sent you the PDF on your end so you can see it. Give me a second. So yeah, I'll talk about the process for you and other people interested in making a coloring book. So right now the coloring book is available on Amazon, and Amazon has a self-publishing process that takes about 3 to 5 days depending on like the state of the coloring book, meaning like if you have like errors, they'll send it back and you'll have to update it. But I'll explain that in a bit. The book itself went live maybe 2 weeks ago, but it took me about a week to make.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
when I get the idea, I kind of focus in and zone in. So like once I had the parts, I knew that I wanted him to travel to different countries. I knew the facts. Then I learned how to use ChatGPT and another platform named Midjourney to come up with my Alex, my young traveler, and the image and how I wanted him to look. And then how I wanted him to be in each of the countries. So I want to say the hardest part is that. But I think if you wanted to come up with a coloring book, even the poetry book, 5 days, I think you could pull it off.
Wow. That's fascinating. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Full disclosure. I went on Amazon a few years ago and looked at their self-publishing process. They have a page where you can actually find out information. And I'm reading it, and for some reason, it didn't click with me how to do it. So I never did it. And so, you know me, if I don't get it, I'll put it aside for a while. Well, I'm getting really anxious about this book. I have been working on this one particular book for 7 years.
Okay.
And it's time for me to publish. So after the show, we can talk about that more because this is about you.
Right.
In your work right now. But I just wanted to tell you one of the reasons why I'm asking you to share about it is because I know I'm not alone. There's got to be somebody else out there that probably looked at that and it didn't click for them too. So, if what advice would you give to someone who is considering self-publishing through Amazon? I'm sure give the three biggest tips you could think about.
Okay. So, tip number one is something that you mentioned, which is don't get intimidated. It
Mm-hmm.
is, I agree, one of the most convoluted things I've ever read on the internet, right? And I really had to look at YouTube, look at a whole bunch of things, but ultimately you can do it. You just have to not be intimidated by what you see. There are a lot of restrictions. Not, I don't want to call it restrictions, but the most intimidating part for me is the page size.
Mm-hmm.
My coloring book is known as large print because it has fonts over 16 points, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it ranges from 16 to 20. But
Mm-hmm.
there are things that you would never think about, like spill over the page, like edges, margins, so that they could cut the coloring book properly and your pages are squared up. Like all of that stuff would
Mm-hmm.
really kind of turn you off. But the second point I would say, pass, don't get intimidated, is think about how you're going to feel after you finish. Like look towards the finish line instead of
Mm-hmm.
the journey, because I could see how you would stop in the middle of the process and not do it because you just get so frustrated. It took me a week. It could take you 2 weeks, but just get it done.
Right.
Lastly, when you get it done, and this is something that I still struggle with, but I'm learning, is tell people about it. I'm so happy to be on this show because, I mentioned it in my group. I mentioned it on the YouTube channel when I talk about sports, but promote what you did, no matter how it came out,
Mm-hmm.
because this is an amazing accomplishment. We didn't have these opportunities back then. And back, I want to say back in the day, maybe like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But it is an opportunity not only just to see your work, but other people to see your work. There's
Right.
someone out there that needs to see that poetry book that's
Mm-hmm.
7 years in the making, that needs the message that's in
Mm-hmm.
that book. And so look forward to giving that person the message.
It's a
That's what
good.
I have to do.
It's a
Um,
good tip. These are great tips.
yeah. So there's a kid out there I know that can't go to Brazil, but they'll know 4 things about Brazil and be interested, and maybe in their adulthood they'll get to go to Brazil, Oh,
Right.
right? So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question. Um, let me see. When you first thought about this, did you originally want it to be a coloring book, or was it going to be just a kid's storybook in the beginning, and then you switched to coloring?
So good question. I sometimes think about both, right? I love storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, this is my second coloring book. My first one had more story to it, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
My first one was about well, it's called Dad Lost a Bet. And it was really inspired by the group that we are both in, 2MW, people just losing sports bet. And there are a lot of guys in there. So I said, you have to tell your kids. You have to tell your kids this one, you know. But that had a story in it, and the story was simple.
Mm-hmm.
There was a child that was told if they clean their room, do their homework, they can watch the game, right? Like when we grew up, we had little chores we had to do to get to watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
He did the chores and watched the game with his dad. And for the first time, saw his dad become really sad because the team lost. It was their
Mm-hmm.
favorite team. And, you know, the the dad had promised the kid if he did all this stuff that they would go to the park or they would go to the sneaker store and get sneakers. And the dad was not only sad about the team losing, but sad that he couldn't keep up the promise. And so the story is the child telling the dad, listen, we don't gotta go fishing. We don't gotta go for sneakers. I just love being with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that made the dad cheer up. And,
Mm-hmm.
that was the end of the story. Now, a lot of people, I get a little flack about that story sometimes because
Why?
I don't want it to seem like the child, or I don't want children to feel like they have to make their parents happy when the
Mm-hmm.
parents are sad.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like for dads, sometimes their child is the one thing that they think that will give them unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted both the reader, right? Because it would probably be an adult reading this to a child. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted the reader and the child to get something out of it. Not everything is about buying new stuff and hanging out. Sometimes you're just being with your family.
Mm-hmm.
And for the reader to know that, yeah, you lost, but it's not over. And there are people that love you. So I wanted both the reader and the child to get that message. And hopefully they did. In this coloring book, there's not so much a story, but just the the adventure of going country to country. So this is more like fact learning
Mm-hmm.
and geography than a story. But maybe my next one will be a story. Maybe your one will be a story.
Which is the first country in the book? Just the first one. Which
The
one?
first country. Sorry, I kind of rearranged the book the last minute. So let me. No, I did because I wanted a certain thing. Spain.
Oh, oh,
Yes.
Spain. Okay. Is there a particular reason why you picked that one first?
Um, we're getting into the soccer. Like I wanted to put soccer first, but I also think that Spanish is some people like a lot of people know Spanish. So I want to start out with something that ease them into going into different countries with something a little bit familiar but distant. So I
Mm.
like Spain. They, they can do Spanish. Hola, like everybody, even if you don't know a language, so you've heard hola, right?
Hola and see.
And see, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Um,
Spain, that's a great country. But I'm gonna try to put the cover up because
yes.
I want you to talk about the cover a little bit.
Okay.
Let me see.
Sorry about that. I'm getting a tissue.
No, that's not it. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. Nice. Oh, I thought it was sharing. It's not. You can't see it. Okay, it's there. Okay, well, let me try it this way. Hold on a moment. I'm going to share it from my screen. 2MW. Oh, illustration. Did you do the illustrating as well?
So give me a second. I'm trying to pull up the cover as well so I can
I got it.
tell you exactly. So the landmarks in the illustration are just things that I decided to have on there. So initially, what I mentioned is I at least the first coloring book. Now I'm kind of practiced, but I did this also for me as a way to learn more about um, AI tools, right? And so the two tools I used was ChatGPT and something called Midjourney in Discord. And what I did was, and this is new to maybe some of you viewing, is give it a prompt of a visual, a description of what I wanted, and the image of Alex, which I created ahead of time, right? And it will come up with different versions of what I want the cover to be. This was the winning version. And yeah, that's how I did it. So if you look at the cover, I don't know, let me see. Let me just make sure.
I got it. Hold on. There we go. Can you see it on your screen yet?
I cannot, but
how come I can see it? But you can't see it. Let me see. It's still not, I don't understand why it's not showing up. So I apologize for the technical difficulty because this worked earlier and I'm not sure why it's not working now.
Maybe the producer can.
Producer. Maybe you can tell me why this is not. I mean, even the share screen is not working, which is
kind of funny. So if you guys go to Amazon right now and type in Passport to Play coloring book, you will see it. It's a blue coloring book. It has a little giraffe. It has some, some of the landmarks like some mountains and your basketball, and in the middle, prominent on the book, is Alex, and Alex has the magic passport in his hand, and behind him you'll have a globe of all the countries and a little plane going off at the top, which signifies the travel. So that is pretty much. I didn't have to explain all of that in the ChatGPT to get that prompt, but I had to give commands that said, hey, this is what all the things that I want in the cover, and it'll process it and generate the cover. So let's say if you wanted to do a coloring, not a coloring book, but a poetry book, but you wanted images that aren't like a coloring book, you wouldn't put the command coloring book like I did. So there is a command that you put, and I'm saying command, but the real word is prompt, where you say coloring book outlines, right? The way it's outlined like that. And it'll give you this kind of look.
Okay. Let me see. Passport to Play. All right. So I have another question. There are lessons in this book. Are the lessons just for the kids or for the parents that's reading it to them as well?
So it really depends. Like, so again, it's not as like story driven as Dad Lost the Bet, but if you're a parent that hasn't traveled, because I know a lot of people that haven't traveled, but you don't want to keep your kid confined because you don't have the ability for any reason. Maybe you don't have a passport. Maybe you don't have the money. Both of you can learn something. So that is the lesson. Like if you're a parent that's never been to New Zealand, a parent that's never been to Australia, most of us haven't been to China. We will all learn. We will all learn something from this book.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I could agree. Most people that I know, anyway, have not been to China, so I think you're right. But China's one of the countries, right?
Yes, there is the coloring book.
There it is. Thank you, producer. My good old producer. Okay, so now that it's on the screen, can you explain why it is the way it is, and how you determine where to put the images?
So I wanted to center the child in the middle, so the children have someone to identify with. A young, happy child with a little book in his hand. They don't know quite yet that it's a passport, but he is there. He is center stage. And the reason why he's center stage is because on every country that's visited, he's the one going through the experience. And we as readers and colorers will live vicariously through his travel. And the world is around him because he'll go in different parts of the world to experience these sports.
I like the backpack. He does look like a tourist.
Yeah, a little young tourist. And there are little images at the bottom from different countries just to give him like a foundation to stand on. Some sports, a basketball, baseball, but it's more than that in the book. So yeah.
Cool. I see the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. It looks like the India buildings in India back there. Yeah. And then at the top, I see is that a hockey puck in a plane?
Yes.
Hey, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good now.
So it's like offset with the plane.
Yeah. So, and I like that the plane leaves a heart on the screen on the page. That's cool. Yeah. But let me see. I think I might have mentioned to you that how much I love coloring when I was a kid. But as an adult, I still like to color. I find myself sometimes I'll color with colored pencils instead of crayons.
Oh.
But I do both. And so whenever I'm with my great nieces or my little cousins or something, and they're coloring, I love it because I can sit down and color with them, right? And then they feel like, oh, she's playing with me. It's something that we can share. And I think it's fun. So would you recommend this if an adult likes to play, to color, that they get this book and go at it?
I mean,
because I can see me coloring at the hairdresser. I have to sit under the dryer for a while, and I don't want to fall asleep.
I'll be honest. I can't
always do so.
I don't know if you love to color and don't care what you're coloring about. Then definitely passport.
Oh yeah,
because
I love to color.
You have inspired me. Like if you want an adult version coloring book without the adult images, because I know this is a family show. Happy to make one for you.
But it's a great idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
So let me see. I think I see. Is that a giraffe down at the bottom? Yeah. No, tell us about this giraffe now.
Now listen. This giraffe I mean, he just trying to play basketball. Like,
Is that what it is?
I mean,
Giraffe playing basketball.
yeah, I had to throw a basketball on the cover somewhere.
That's your favorite sport. You got to.
Yeah, basketball
Got
is
to.
my favorite sport. But just wanted to put an animal. Animals are, I want to say, a differentiator for countries as well. We don't really talk about it unless we talk about the zoo, but like, I just wanted to throw that in there so that, again, kids love animals, or if they get a chance to see them, and thought it would be cool to put that on the cover as well. So, yeah.
Cool. Let me see. There was one more question I had. So you went through the process a little bit of creating it. You just talked about how you did the chat GPT thing and all of that. And, you were able to use that to help with your images.
Yes.
You told me how you came up with the premise. How did it feel? You said one of your tips was to think about how you will feel when you're done with the book. And that was one of the tips you would give to people who are out there listening who want to self-publish. How did you feel when you completed it?
Listen, I felt great because, again, I feel like we're all, well, not me, I'll speak for myself. I felt like I was kind of dragging this year, like exhausted because of all the things that are happening. And too many times I let the feelings stop me from moving forward. And this was the time I was like, yo, I make this coloring book.
Do it. Like, do it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And when I was done, I was like, all right, cool. So you've done it. Then you said, I've done it. Yeah.
Gave me momentum for other things. Right? So, other things like finishing a film, I was writing a film, finished that, right? I feel like this was the easiest thing to say, hey, you overcame a hurdle, and not only did you overcome it, but other people get to see the end result. And you might get paid for the end result if they buy it. So I felt great. It made me move forward in other things. And not to say, hey, do a coloring book and you'll move forward in life. But like, that was my like, hey, see this to the end. The end is put it on Amazon. And once I got the approval, I was like, you finished something.
Yeah. So that's an accomplishment, a feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah. Finish. Whatever you do. If it's like, hey, I want to write a poem, finish it.
Okay. I hear you.
Publish. You don't have to publish.
Just finish it. I hear you. So is Amazon the only, is exclusively on Amazon, or are there other ways to get it?
It's right now it's exclusively on Amazon because, I mean, that's the biggest platform to put a self-published book on right now, to be honest. At least in my ignorance, that's what I believe, right? But don't let me find another platform, because I'll put it there too. But I know that Amazon is a trusted brand that people would buy things on, and especially let's say if you're buying things for your next trip to travel, it might be one of the things you add to cart. So yeah, that's why it's there. But I'll look for other places to put it and definitely get it up there. But for now, it's just on Amazon. After this show, I'll put it in the chat, and you guys can go ahead and buy it.
Purchase away. So when is the book tour?
Well, the book tour starts this summer. I'll be in North Carolina.
You got to come to Durham first. You don't you bypass Durham and go to Charlotte first.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm actually gonna have the book signing in your front yard. And
That'll be fun. I can't wait. I'm excited.
yeah, but yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah, and thank you for letting me talk about it. It was
Good, of
great.
course. So you're going to start in North Carolina. You're going to start here, right? But not.
I'm gonna keep going. Now you put book tour in my mind. I'm gonna have to travel like Alex. I'm gonna have to bring the book to the different countries that he
Mhm.
visited.
Well, I'm a planner. I can help you plan the whole book tour campaign. And then as far as booking your travel, I have someone for you.
Oh,
We can
I
book
bet.
you through Travel Bliss,
Okay.
friend of the show, Miss Tanya of Bliss, and we can put her in the mix and have her set you up on some great travel,
All
cost
right.
effective, cost
I,
effective travel,
I'm looking forward to
beneficial
talking to
travel.
Tanya.
hmm And then we can make this work. Girl power all the way around.
Got it.
That's
You
right.
got it. You got it.
All right. Well, it sounds like it's a great book. And I remember when you first posted it, I told you I'm getting one. And I decided I'm going to buy 3.
Oh,
I have to buy one for my little grandson and my 2 great nieces.
listen.
Well, I think I'm going to up it to 4
Oh,
because I want one myself.
you know what? You've been talking about coloring all show. Go ahead.
Hey, hey.
Go ahead.
Don't let me go get my box. I have my little craft box is right there in my living room in the drawer. And I'll pull it out and it has color pencils, crayons, and markers in it.
What?
I'm ready.
Now you got me like I don't even got a set of like that. I might have to
Yeah.
I got mad dry erase markers, but like not the
No, see, I don't have a whiteboard. I have a mini one, like in another drawer that I'll pull out every blue moon. But as far as just a cup, I have a set of rainbow markers, rainbow pencils, rainbow crayons, just all colors in this box.
Do you
And I've had
paint?
this box for a while.
Do you
Hmm?
paint? Do you also paint?
I have a paint kit. I haven't painted in years though. I haven't painted in about 20 years.
Oh.
Except for, sip and paint, one of those sip and paint things you go to. Now I've done that recently, but yeah, I haven't just sat and painted or paint by numbers or anything like that. It's been like 20 years.
It's a kid show. It's a kid show. It's like having a sip and paint experience.
But anyway, so what's your next publishing venture? Do you have any upcoming plans on the next one?
Okay, so I definitely want to come up with a book that teaches children to be kind to each other. So I have that in the midst of it, in the midst of um creation, and it's not going to be a coloring book. It's going to be an actual storybook with the images colored and stuff like that. And I'm going to utilize, some of the AI things to come up with the images, but the story is what I'm trying to come up with. That is maybe the hardest part, but hard because it has to be simple yet under, understandable and but full. Simple but full for kids, right? Um and the theme of that book is, you know, do unto others, right? Right? And basically it's like biblical a little bit because I want you to do it to others as you would have done to yourself. Like if you're going to be mean, you're going to get back what you gave, right? So um that is a theme that I'm working on, but I'm trying to simplify it for young kids.
Right.
And yeah, so that's one thing. And then the other things that I'm working on are more movie based. Like I write films. I just wrote a short film that I'm submitting for a grant. That is not a
Awesome.
children's book. that that is a film. It's a horror.
Oh Lord.
Yes, I know you're not into
I
horrors.
I don't do horror, but for you, I'd watch it, I guess.
Listen, I know you got my back, but I have a lot of friends
Mhm.
that don't watch horrors, and I would not force you into it. But this is a horror called Mouth to Feed.
Ooh, just the
And
title has me shaking already.
you know, this is another case where you sit down and you're chatting with friends and you talk about something really simple and you're like, that could be a movie. And then I
Mhm.
get the idea and wrote it.
Mhm.
And it took about 4 days, but finished it.
Wow.
So,
4
yeah.
days. Mm.
Yeah. It's a short film. It's like 12 pages.
Mhm.
So a short, but that was the requirement for the grant. And I wasn't writing to the grant, it just came out like that. And then I happened to discover the grant, right? But
Mhm.
Mouth to Feed is about a love of mine that is a horror to others. I love going to the dentist. I
Oh,
love it. I love it. I
no.
love it.
Mm-mm.
I used to go to the dentist at minimum 6 times a year.
No.
I
I
love
can't. I have to share with you my dentist horror story after the show. But yeah, we're not doing that.
And I was like, this is the perfect horror because I love this thing, but everyone's like, dentist.
No, man. Mm-mm. There's no way.
Yeah, but now it takes
No
it to the
way.
extreme. So
Hmm.
it's about a it Mouth to Feed is about a young man going through some dental pain and really doesn't have the money to do the work. So he um finally the pain is so unbearable that he goes into one of the, I would say, like an underground clinic, but it's in plain view. It's just that you could tell nobody goes into this place,
Hmm.
and makes a deal with a with the dentist, and
Hmm.
the dentist tells him a tooth for a tooth. So, in order to replace the tooth that is hurting in his mouth, the dentist says you have to bring someone in and he'll pull a tooth from that person and put it in your mouth. And it spirals from there.
Okay, that's enough. I'm already frightened. I'm already frightened. I'm getting a little sweaty over here. No, 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 that's enough. But it sounds intriguing. If I liked horror, I would be intrigued. I'll put it that way. But anyway, so to wrap this up, I have one more thing. Usually, before we leave the show, I, of course, want to ask you how people can follow you, where people can buy the book. You've already said it's on Amazon, and you're going to put a link in the chat. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and do that. But I wanted to ask, what are your final thoughts for today? You can either end with tips, inspiration, or anything finally that you want to say.
Um, I definitely want you guys to buy the book, but beyond the book,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to tell people you can do it. I think people want or need some kind of inspiration, and you can't vocalize it.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's something in your heart you want to do it. Do it now. Do it as fast as you can.
Okay.
That's it. Do it.
I'll take that too. And where can people follow you? Where can they find you?
So I put the link to the book in the chat, and
Mm-hmm.
it's in your chat, but
Mm-hmm.
you can put it on the thing. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Tricia_Joy 360. That's TRICIA_JOY_360. Same thing on YouTube.
Okay. All right. And here's my final thoughts for today. Be inspired. Find you some inspiration. If you ever get stuck, like me, I get stuck often. So Tricia is my inspiration in a lot of things. So my advice to people is if you're stuck, find something that will inspire you. It's out there. You can find it. You just have to lean into it and be open to it. Okay? Let me see. Be open to it. Okay. Let me see. All right. So next Saturday. You gonna come back next Saturday? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna come back every Saturday.
I could have you on every Saturday.
Right. You know.